We're down to our final question in this section, and this is actually a question. This is not a proposition. It's directed to Mr. Brown first. First, here's some background. In 2009, the Indiana legislature passed an unemployment insurance premium increase. In the House of Representatives, no House Republican at all voted for the measure, as the Republican caucus considered that it was a tax increase. The Senate Republican majority did vote for it and did not characterize it as a tax increase. This year, the legislature did not increase the unemployment insurance premium. Given that background, Mr. Brown, are you in favor of the legislature not passing an unemployment insurance premium increase in 2011 in hopes of a federal bailout, or do you believe that a premium increase should be passed this year? And if you are in favor of delaying in hopes of a federal in hopes of federal money, can you justify that position in favor of other positions you have on other federal bailouts by the Barack Obama administration?
Well, frankly, last year when Dennis Cruz took on that assignment to fix that problem, which he did, it was really a tough political issue for him. And then they caved, and they didn't enact it. In my opinion, it's a responsibility. I didn't get elected to get reelected. That was my goal. Although I love public service and I love contributing to the community. The whole concept of this unemployment tax. When I was president of the Northeast Indiana Workforce Investment Board in 2001, we had this giant surplus. The way I understand it, we have richened up that plan. So we have a really, really good payout on unemployment. I think it's we're the fourth richest in the nation, or in the top 10. From there, we basically drained all those dollars out and kept draining it and draining it and borrowing from the government, the federal government, borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. In my mind, we should have fixed it last year. I would have voted to fix it last year because the system's broken. And I think, the thing about being in business, I mean, you live and die by the punishment and the pain that the economy puts on you. And if you win one thing, you lose your head. And I think with, here's a great example. If you're in a situation where you're going broke, and the employment fund was going broke, now you have to ask the businesses to pay their fair share and get the thing back in line with what it needs to be. You can't just continue to borrow, and then hope that the federal government prints more money. Now, if somebody out there knows they're getting ready to cut a check, and they're going to pay out everybody in the whole country, I suppose that's a little bit different. And that philosophy I have about federal dollars coming here, if we're spending it someplace in the United States of America, spend it here. But it's money to spend. It's money that's printed. We've got a balanced budget amendment. When you look at the $9 billion unfunded teachers liability that's been created, frankly, by school boards throughout the state, and when you look at the unemployment, I think it's pushing $2 billion, I believe, by the end of the year. So we've got a $2 billion unfunded thing. I think one of the things Indiana can be proud of is that we have a balanced budget amendment. But here we have these two things sitting out there. They're balanced budget for Constitution. $9 billion for teachers and $2 billion for checks we're cutting for people that are unemployed. And I'm not sure how this would work, but what I don't understand is, if you're working on Friday, why when you get your unemployment check on Monday, aren't you showing up in some decrepit old alley or something where the weeds are growing up so much you can't even drive a car down the alley? Now, that's not like a welfare mom asking her to come to work. I don't understand the system that all of a sudden just starts handing out money you don't have because you're unemployed. I don't get that. So, to sum up, I think we need to go ahead and tackle this thing head on. The business community needs to fight the bullets we have done. And I'm just going to segue to 4 minutes before. There's some similarities there. If we had health savings accounts years ago for people who were in charge of their consumerism on their medical purchases, we wouldn't have this health care problem we have today. But no, we just have a system out there that the politicians let happen, where people they don't care about what the costs are. Once again, running those costs way up. Those are tough decisions. I think we need to, from an unemployment standpoint, be clear, very clear. We need to go ahead and take care of that problem and pay it down. I know, for example, in my small business, my wife owns, she's already going to have to pay to replace the fund. So
tax the businesses, pay them not to work. Tax from the business then creates another job loss. Because the company could have invested the same money in hiring an employee. Budgets are tight everywhere. Why is it tight? My daughter came to ask me to go to an event. He didn't have the money. I said, "You got the money saved?" She said, "No." She didn't go. I was broken hearted. Didn't want to go. Didn't have a choice. It wasn't in the budget. We had to make really tough choices. The choices are tough because either decision hurts. If you say no to somebody in need, you feel the pain. If you say, business, you have to pay for this, they feel it. But our road to recovery lies in free enterprise with as little friction caused by government interference and government taxation as possible. When our businesses start to get better, the money will flood through the system. We'll hire people, we won't need them. We won't need as much of them. So I think the answer here is the House Republicans are absolutely right. This is a tax. Senators can live in a world where charging businesses more money is not a tax. But you and I can't. So I think the best long-term health of our economy is to leave the businesses alone, make tough cuts, go down.
Unemployment insurance fund is a huge issue. It was something that everybody knew was going to be a problem for the legislature. And as the term went on, I couldn't figure out why nobody was talking about it. And we talked about engaging people in what's going on in their government. And I asked state representatives very simply, why is nobody talking about this? Why is this not an issue? Because it's going to be controversial, whatever you come up with. You're going to have to figure out some way to make this work financially. And the answer was Democrats are counting on a bailout. And that's really what it came down to. There's, no level of policy making was going to solve this problem because you had an entrenched majority that was willing to ride it out. They were willing to play chicken with the Senate and see if we had given on our side to perform the function that we're responsible for. The bottom line in all this is that it's a federal mandate that's created the whole problem in the first place. It's a great example of how the eroding nature, Republican nature of our system as it was designed is just going right out the window. So working towards restoring the ability of the states to regulate this stuff without mandates from the federal government is going to be critical for us moving forward, because the more that we all have to uniformly follow what the federal government is going to put down on us, the less likely we are going to have any sort of control or flexibility or competition with other states when we try to set policies that are going to help our folks. Ultimately, Commissioner Brown pointed out, the benefit is way out of whack. When we compare to what other states receive, we need to take a hard look. Everybody else is cutting corners. We've cut more parts of the budget out than the only areas we didn't cut were unemployment, compensation, and education. The only areas that every other part of the state budget got cut hard. So we have to figure out how to make this work. But if we're not willing to address the benefits, then we're never going to solve the problem. And that's really what we need to be focused on in the legislature, is solving the problem. Getting a majority is going to go a long way to us being able to achieve that. If the Democrats are in, they're going to be happy to continue to sit there and play chicken because they don't see there's a responsibility. They know someone's going to back them. They know Washington is going to come in and say, well, we're not going to let the system fail. We'll just print some more money and keep it afloat. But we need to figure out a way we can take responsibility to keep that from happening and have good policy in our state. Thank you.